this world. Slow down this world, 'cause we got time. Time to find out. We got no time for gambling. We're losing time for love.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and pets of all ages, welcome to another episode of Pretty Amazing People, live from sunny Southern California with our host, award-winning blues artist, radio co-host, and girl about town, Brigitte Purdy. Today, Brigitte welcomes R.D. Olson to the...
Hey everybody, happy Thursday. It's that time again of the week when we get together, hang out, and listen to some cool music. I have RD as a guest today, and he's a phenomenal singer, songwriter, and he's played with some and toured with some iconic artists such as Beverly Guitar Watkins, and he has some great stories about other phenomenal blues artists. So thank you so much for dropping by. I'm so excited. But I want to tell you all, thank you so much for the birthday wishes. They keep on coming in. I guess it's my birthday month. And also, I told Andy that I'm not going to be crying anymore on this show. So Andy, you heard it. Thank you so much to all the DJs, and Andy's one of them, who is spinning my new song entitled Time for Love. It was #2 on the Blues Rocks Roots RMR charts, and it was #9 in the top 10 blues songs. So, very thankful. And with that, drum roll, I give you R.D. Olson. All right. Hey, R.D., how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. And you, Brigitte, thank you so much for having me on this show this evening. I really, really appreciate it.
Oh my goodness, it is such a pleasure to be here with you. You know, you have quite a repertoire of different people that you've played with, and you know, and you have some beautiful songs that you've written as well. And so I'm excited to hang out with you here and to have you be my guest. And
thank you.
So tell us a little bit about you for those of you that are just dropping in and listening today. As you're scrolling along, today we have R.D. Olson, and he is going to be sharing all about himself today. He's pretty amazing. So sit back and chill and relax.
Cool. Well, thanks again for having me, Brigitte. I really deeply appreciate it. So, yeah, how do we get started in keeping this business? I'm going to turn 68 in about 6-8 weeks here. So it's like, you know, you're looking back and thinking, where did it all start? Well, it starts because you love music, and then you find a way. Early on, I played a lot of country music, and I was a drummer, so I was keeping the beat, you know, and learning how to play old-time country, Hank Williams and Merle Haggard and all that stuff. So I have a real love for old country music, but I was quite young.
Where did you grow up?
In a little farm town called Zumbrota, Minnesota.
Hey, how's that for Dr. Seuss and rhyming? Zumbrota, Minnesota. Zumbrota.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. It's an Indian name, I guess, but that's a little farm town up there, so, you know, not too far from the Mississippi, and I've written about that in the song. The title track to the CD that we're going to put out is called Born in the Country, and the title track is Born in the Country, and it tells the story of, you know, how a guy grows up to play the blues, you know, and but I came through country music first, and I was quite young, though. By 19, I was into blues deep, so I jumped ship and went totally blues for decades.
So now we have this amazing track that you sent us, and It is going to be on your next album entitled "Born in the Country," and
Yes.
it's pretty cool. I love this song. I fell in love with this song, and it's entitled "Funny How Time Slips Away." And growing as we all are every day on
Yes.
Earth, and your birthday coming up, and I'm telling you, time just does fly, right? What?
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about the song. Tell us what inspired you. I just released my song entitled "Time for Love."
Yes.
So I want to know, and I want to know about other artists, and I want to
Yep.
for all of us to rise together because there's plenty of room at the table.
Yes. Yes. Right. That's correct. So, "Funny How Time Slips Away" was written by Willie Nelson. And I really wish I had written that song. But so when I heard that, when I heard Willie sing it 25, 30 years ago, it didn't do a whole lot for me. I mean, I loved the lyrics, but I didn't really dig Willie's version. And so I wanted to redo it, though, because I love this story, and it was easy for me to sing. And I know that you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Singing for me isn't easy.
You
And
know
so
what the
I
thing
have to
about
work
it
at it.
is? The thing about it is when we're sitting there and we are writing songwriters,
Yeah.
to me, I'm always like, am I conveying the story? Is this telling a story? Is this a song that is going to appeal to masses? And
Yes.
also on that note, when you heard Willie Nelson's song, us artists, we hear music, but we hear different things in the music.
Of course.
Our creative mind and our creative juices just start flowing, and I say, oh, I hear a breakdown here, or this song would be
Yes.
great acoustically because you could really hear the lyrics and the words and focus on it. So I totally get what you're saying when you heard, because I'm sure people are like, that's Willie Nelson. That's a classic. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah.
But we hear things differently. Somebody who is a sculptor, or an artist, they can see a rock and they can see what is a famous sculptor? Michelangelo.
Yes. There you go.
That's what Michelangelo said. He said that the rock was crying out to him to be carved. He saw,
Yeah, I dig
he
that.
saw an angel in the rock, and the rock was crying out to him.
Yes, I get that. I'm a landscape designer by trade, so I build gardens, and you have to have a vision, and you have to find it. You find it. People say, I say, don't worry, when I'm done with your yard, you're going to love it. I'll find what the scape is supposed to be, and then I draw it up. And yeah, it's the same thing. It's a wonderful thing to be able to create like that.
It's the same.
So Willie's version, you as a singer, the first time I sang that, I went, I can sing this. It's meant for me. And that's how I felt about that song. And so I had to record it. But when I went in the studio here in Hot Springs, Arkansas, and I met some gospel guys, some guys out of the church, okay? And that's who's playing on this record. And some Arkansas church boys that are Branson players, and we recorded it right here at Big Event Music with Brent Frazier on lead guitar, bass guitar, and rhythm, and Mike Lovelady on drums, piano, congas, B3, whatever. So three of us made the record and played multiple instruments. But when I went in the studio, I said, Willie did it country and Elvis did it, kind of cool, and other people have done it, but let's get a Ray Charles thing going on this. Let's get a church thing going and get it, gospel it up some and throw some blues in on it. And so we just kind of baked a new cake.
Yeah.
And that's what came out.
Well, it really touched my spirit. I wanted to tell you.
Thank
So
you.
Andy, if we could pull that up, and if we could listen to that would be great.
Thank you. Yeah, I love this song. I just felt it right deep in. I felt it first time I heard it. Just took me a while to get to recording it.
Sure. Andy, are you there?
Yes, ma'am.
There we
Yes.
go.
How am I doing? Oh, well, I guess I'm doing fine.
Yeah, get that sway going.
It's been so long now, and it seemed like it was only yesterday.
Okay, Andy, I'm not going to cry this show.
Ain't it funny?
Yes, you are.
That's your trademark.
Just slips away.
Look at the time. Look at the time.
How's your new love? Oh, well,
Well, I'll bet he's doing fine. I gotta get mad now.
I heard you told him. I heard you told him you'd love him till until the end of time.
Oh yeah.
You know that's the same thing that you told me. Oh, honey, seemed like just the other day. Oh, ain't it funny how time
Just slips away.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Now this is Miss Linda singing on vocals. Cool.
Oh my. Well, that's pretty amazing. So you grew up a country boy
Yeah.
who fell in love with the blues. You grew up a country boy and the blues came and they stole your heart.
That's a fact.
That
That's a
is
fact.
a
That's
fact.
just what happened.
Okay,
Just what
so
happened too.
tell you we're gonna sit back. You can share some of your stories. I'm gonna share some of mine. Just
Right.
like we're having a cup of coffee, all right? Except for
Okay.
you're miles away. All right,
Yeah.
bring it on. Tell me all about it. I'm excited.
Well, you mentioned Luther Allison, and I was real young when I met Luther, and it's a great story because, you know, I knew who he was. I'd heard his music and things, but I hadn't seen him live. I'd only heard rumors about some of the live shows, and this was he'd play in Minneapolis. Well, now I lived down in Zumbrota, about 70 miles south of Minneapolis, and but at this time I was living outside another little teeny tiny town of about 1,000 people, little small farm communities. You know, it's just farmers and shit, and that's where I'm living. But I'm on the river, right on the river. It's fish from the deck. So this girl buys a honky-tonk bar that used to be a country western honky-tonk bar in this little teeny town. She starts bringing in all these blues bands from Minneapolis. And she's trying to, and the place is starting to get packed. It's people driving 20, 30 miles to come and see. It was a real juke joint, you know, but my grandpa.
I love me a juke joint. We have one out
Yeah.
here in LA, and I've been into Reds down in Clarksdale, Mississippi. So
Oh,
yeah.
yeah, juke joints, sawdust joints. And that's where I started playing. And so, but that's where I met Luther Allison. She booked him in down there. Now I was 24 years old, and of course I've got a harmonica in my pocket, and I'm going to sit in and impress my girlfriend. I'm going to ask to sit in, you know, and bother him, and I did, and because that's what you do when you're young and dumb, you bother them. And can I sit in? Can I sit in? Can I sit in? And he finally said yes. End
Whoa.
of the night, I'll call you up. And he did. And he let me play 2 songs, which is great, and I get bragging rights to that. But so he's packing up his stuff, and he says, motel around here. I said, there isn't one. You either got to go 20, 30 miles that direction, or you got to go 70 miles back to Minneapolis. I said, however, I've got a empty 3-bedroom place right on the river, and I heard you like to fish, and you're welcome to it. And so they stayed there for 5 days, a long layover between their next gigs. So they just stayed there and fished, and he didn't have to go out of pocket. But he insisted on buying dinner and cooking on the grill.
Wow.
And so, he was a harmonica player as well. And so he says to me after the 5-day stay, he said, you want to go to France with me? That's where he was headed. He had one gig in St. Cloud, Minnesota.
Now,
And then he was off to France. And he says, do you want to go to France and play harp with me? You have to do it as an apprenticeship. You won't get paid. So you got about 10 days to get a passport and get enough money to come along, because you're going to pay your own way. You're going to pay your dues. And I went, well, and I would gladly do it. I couldn't do it because I didn't have enough time to get the money together and quit my job and everything to go running off with Luther. But if I would have had the money, I sure would have.
Okay, so it didn't transpire, but it makes for a great story.
Oh no, I did play with him many gigs after that. Now, before he went to France on tour for 2 weeks, and then he came back, and he said to me, if you move to Madison, Wisconsin, that's where I'm booking out of, that's where the band lives, you can play with us there, and you can, if you want to drive around, everything's got to be out of your dime, though. It's just an apprenticeship, because I really don't need that, but I'll be happy to teach you because you let us stay at your house. And so it was like that, and so I did play with him any chance I got. And I never got paid. I was never a band member, but I was welcomed by him, and he tutored me. So those are just little things to give you confidence when somebody, gives you a chance. And that's all he was doing, because I wasn't that good. So he he really liked fishing on my lake, though. See, but he was a wonderful man to me. And then he moved permanently to France, and then got cancer, came back, an old man, and signed on with, I think, Alligator again. I might have that part wrong, but he signed on with somebody, and he toured right up until he died.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, we have, Andy, we have a YouTube clip of Luther Allison. If you could pull that.
The new record is called Bad Love. Not Eric Clapton, Luther Allison.
There's your old fishing buddy.
If only Eric knew what to do with this.
Yeah, sitting on the dock of the bay. See, I was really into Otis Redding when he was staying at my place, and so I was playing a lot of Otis Redding, and then he was sitting on the dock of the bay, listening to Sitting on the Dock of the Bay, and he said, I'm going to put that in my set, and sure enough, he did.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he did it great. Luther was heir apparent right next to Buddy Guy as heir apparent to B.B. King. Those were his 2 children. His chosen ones were Luther Allison and Buddy Guy. And, I got to play with both of them. I played with Buddy, too. Yeah.
Wow.
And then we opened up for him twice. So that's always fun stuff, so. But Luther introduced me to a lot of people, including, I was at a festival in Wisconsin with him. And on that festival was B.B. King, John Lee Hooker, Albert King, Luther Allison, of course, Betsy Caskey, James Cotton,
Wow.
Muddy Waters, and I'm sure I forgot a few, but we were all backstage. I was 27 years old, and I was backstage with all that. and making a fool out of myself, you know, and you're feeling like, wow, man, I've made it somewhere, you know. But that was just the beginning. I got a chance to meet, and I loved those people so much. I just loved the music, and I loved them, and so I wanted to be around them, and I was. It was cool.
That's what I said. I said you fell in love with the blues.
Yeah, big time.
It's so
And
funny
I
because I never really anticipated myself being a blues artist, and you
right.
know, it just came and it just kind of grabbed a hold of me, and here I am.
That's what it does. It grabs a hold of you, and that's that voodoo stuff, and you know all that yeah, it's that hoodoo. It's the hoodoo.
It's
Um,
the well later today at the end of this show, I wrote a song entitled Hoodoo, and I'm going to play that on the way out when we go out.
cool.
Uh-huh. Let's go ahead and talk about Miss Beverly Guitar Watson. I really am
Yeah.
so fascinated by women of the blues. I just recently became a DJ on KOCI Radio
Yes.
101.5 in
Yes.
Newport out here in LA. And I played the women of the blues. Sweet, sexy, and sassy. So, you know, of course, I have some interest in hearing about Miss Beverly Guitar Watson because she's slamming.
I got to tell you something. You know, so I want to give kudos to a California DJ, one of your colleagues out there, Jerry Swelly. I can't remember right offhand what station he was with, but he was spinning the blues for a lot of years.
Mm-hmm.
And he called me up, and I got to know Jerry, not face to face. We just talked on the phone and met on Facebook, talked on the phone, and told stories and stuff. So we became friends using modern technology. But I liked the man, you know, and so he called me up because, you know who Beverly Guitar Watkins is? And I said, no, I don't. I'm sorry. There's a lot of blues people. I don't always pay attention anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And I haven't run into her or heard her name. And he goes, well, she was just on Harry Connick Jr. show, and she's looking for a band. And I want you to call her. We take her phone number and call her. And I said, sure. Now I'd done the same thing with Long John Hunter just a few years prior to Beverly, that Jerry Swelly had arranged as well to back up Long John Hunter.
Mm-hmm.
And he's another trip, but we'll talk about Beverly. I called Beverly up. I call her up in Atlanta, and she answers the phone, and I said, Miss Beverly Guitar Watkins. She says, yes. And I said, well, my name is R.D. Olson, and Jerry Swelly asked me to give you a call. I'm a blues musician. I have a band in Arizona, and you know, we're not too bad. And he wants somebody who can help run your business for you, run the business, run the band. Now she's turning 79 years old, Brigitte, and she's still playing behind her back. And she was never a great guitarist, but she was that everybody loved her. They ate it up, man. So we agreed to do some shows together.
When I heard she was wailing on that guitar, the clip that we're gonna play, I was like, my God, this lady had some chops.
She's got some chops, and she played with everything she had. I mean, she poured herself into it, and that's inspirational. And so it was real fun playing with her, and it was real old school, because I'm not sure what clip you're playing, if I'm in it or not, but the one video that's out there, we just met the band an hour before the show. We met them on stage.
I know how that goes.
Yeah.
I know. I've been there.
So you know what I'm talking about. And I go, who's the drummer? Who are you? You're the guitar player. Okay, your name is Rocco. Okay, your name is your name is we had I'm looking for his name, Paul Wiggins on keyboard. So, and then you go play. And my job is band leader, and it's just assumed. I mean, there was no talking about it. She figures you called me, you're a band leader, you run the band.
Mm-hmm.
You ought to know that by now, or you wouldn't be talking to me,
Yeah.
or I wouldn't be talking to you. So it's just assumed you know this stuff. And we hired a band over the internet. I watched their club act, and I went, these guys can jump, swing, and jive all over the place. These are players.
Yeah.
Things won't go smooth. I told them that. I said, I'll send you a set list, but don't plan on sticking with it. You know, she's going to be wherever she wants to be. So the set list ain't going to help you much. So you got to know how to improvise right now.
Mm-hmm.
So you got to know your old blues, because that's what she is.
Mm-hmm.
And they did perfectly.
Oh, cool.
Perfect.
Awesome. That's beautiful. So any funny stories or interesting stories about Beverly?
Well, I will say this. The thing that she would want me to say, the
What?
thing that she prayed on us before we played. She was very religious. That woman grew up in Atlanta, never left the neighborhood she grew up in, went to the same church she was baptized in. And then, so that's who she was. She was dedicated to her community, but all of a sudden she wanted to keep playing and get out of Atlanta and move to Arkansas, where I was heading. She was going to move in with us and get out of Atlanta and just be close to play the blues. And she wanted to do that right up until she died.
Wow.
Just play her heart out. And that's what she did.
Well, you can really, her music is very spiritual. I was immediately drawn to her. So you can hear that spirit in there.
She did a gospel record. She did one gospel, and I know she won a Grammy on her first record. She was just coming into her own at 78, 79, Brigitte. She was just budding.
That's what I encourage all of my listeners and my followers. Don't ever give up on you, because you know what? One, you were created for greatness. Two, God doesn't make junk. You're beautiful just the way you are. Three, you know what? Get out there and kill it. Get out there and kill it. Be brave. Don't ever give up on you, because it's never too late, right?
Right. Beverly was just coming into her stretch. And, she had been ill for a few years and had to lay out. You get stuck in a place.
Yeah.
She just was hitting her stride, and her health kind of caught up with her. But, I don't have a lot of funny stories, because these were quick. We talked on the phone a lot, but when we get together, it was business. We break bread together.
That's even better, because you know what? It's great to make great music, and it's even better to handle your business.
Yeah, it was very businesslike.
That's how you stay alive, and that's how you strive, is handle your business. It's not just all about making the music. There's a lot that goes behind the scenes to put it out there. But let's listen to the clip that we have of Beverly Guitar Watkins. Woo!
Oh, yeah.
That's the real deal, baby.
Yeah, it brings back good memories.
Listen up now, people. Let me tell you about the headline news.
Yeah.
Yeah, listen up now, people. tell you about the headline news.
You'd sure make Miss Beverly proud if you'd sing that song.
Well, then I'm gonna have to add it to my repertoire.
Yeah. Yeah, she would be.
See, Red Mama's back in town. And sure enough, she's gonna play you some blues.
Yeah.
Gonna play 'em early in the morning.
Oh.
She's gonna play 'em late at night.
How late, baby? Tell me now. Don't you tell me no lie.
Gonna play 'em early in the morning.
I just want to know how early, baby.
And she's gonna play 'em late at night.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
See, Red Mama knows how to do it. And I'm gonna make sure she does it right.
Queen of the Blues. From Atlanta, Georgia. Miss Beverly. Guitar. Watch it. That was my job. And that's and that's what you had to. That was called paying your dues, and that's what you had to do. And a lot of I think a lot of people skip that course nowadays. And but you played for little money and did all the work. That was the gig. Yeah, but I knew that, and I played, and didn't make a bunch of money playing with it. A lot of it was paying your dues. We played John Hunter. I'd be lucky if I made anything playing with him. I played with Chico Chisholm, Howlin' Wolf's drummer, Sunnyland Slim's drummer, blues artist in his own right. I played for him for 8 weeks for nothing.
Wow.
And that's called paying your dues. And a lot of the old black people made you do that. And that was just the way it was. And I respected that. And it's because they needed the money more than I did. And I looked at it that way. And so I contributed in that way. And I thought I'm getting paid to go to school.
These people were legends. They were what have made music today. You know, music wouldn't be what it is without, Howlin' Wolf, Muddy Waters, Beverly Guitar Watson,
The greats.
Watkins, Etta, on and on and on, because, we wouldn't be what we are
Right.
without them. We're blessed to have the God-given talent. Like I say, God took that talent off the shelf, and he said that gift off the shelf, and he says, I'm going to give this one to RD, and
Yeah.
I'm going to give this one to Brigitte. So everyone is special and unique, and then we're birthed into this world, and all of our experiences, our heartaches, our joy,
Yes.
everything that just molds us and shapes us, and everything that we listen to, it's all right
Yes.
with us when we walk into that studio, and and then it just pours on out into the listener's ears, and it's received. It's a
If-
huge piece of who we are as people as a whole.
Yes.
Wow.
You've been doing this. I don't know. I was kind of new to singing. It wasn't something I just jumped out and did because they told me back in high school that I couldn't sing and they wouldn't let me in choir. So I took that personal. I never tried. But I was in my late 30s and I was inspired to start. So it's been like, you sing real naturally. I have to work at it, And so it's something that I love doing, and I love singing those old songs by a lot of the artists that you just mentioned.
Yeah,
So,
well, there's two schools of thought. There's two schools of thought. There are the people who are born with these incredible gifts, and it's very easy for them to sing. And there are those that have to work harder. But now the people that don't have to work as hard, if they get lazy and don't stay on top of their game, the people who are working hard, they're just going to fly right on over them. Both need to do one thing. And that one thing is set their soul free and sing from their heart.
Yes.
It doesn't have to be all pretty all the time.
But you know, that's really hard for people, and it was really difficult for me to do that. And that's why I think most people could naturally sing, but they're scared. And I'm coming from one of them. I'm scared to sing. I'm scared to sing. It really is a hard thing for me. So I'm just now learning to let go after 30-some years.
Well, I'm glad you are, because I was really touched by your song, Funny How Time Slips Away. And you keep it up. I really enjoyed having you here today. I want to thank you. Thank you so much.
My pleasure. Thank you.
I love your music. I love your stories. You are a part of history. You know,
thank
you for taking us down memory lane, and keep passing that baton, because when those youngsters come up on the stage and they're looking all scared and all shy and they're like, I want to come up but I don't. You say, come on up.
I've been doing that for years. I'm paying back. I do.
Keep paying it back.
I do. And I have a soft spot for that stuff. So
keep paying it back. So thank you.
God bless you. Thank you.
And you're in Arizona, so I play the Rhythm Room sometimes, so I might see you out there.
You would definitely see me there, but Brigitte, I'm out in Arkansas. I moved out to the Delta. I moved out. I left Arizona a year ago, and I'm in Hot Springs, Arkansas.
Well,
getting my Southern thing on.
Get your
Thank you
Southern
so
thing
much.
on. Thank you. Blessings to you. Blessings to you.
Pleasure.
May you continue to touch people with your beautiful spirit and your soul and your music. Thank you so much.
Namaste. I lived in Sedona. We can say namaste. I love that town.
I'm going to say, I'm going to say.
You have to go to Sedona.
Namaste. Namaste. Okay, thank you. Toodles. Thank you all for dropping by. We're going to play my song Hoodoo on the way out. Since you mentioned some of the old blues vibes that people have. So this is my Hoodoo that I released on my album Still I Rise, and Kenny Neal is playing harp on this. Whew, it's been a great evening with RG. Had such a great time. I really appreciate all you guys dropping by. I could see you on the screen over here. We had Nin, we had Sabrina, we had Larry Medina. I used to play with Larry Medina in this band called the Backstreet Band. Amazing band, amazing singers with RC and Roscoe. So have a beautiful Thursday. And Andy, are you still there?
Yeah. Yes, ma'am.
Do you have Hoodoo queued up? If not, we'll save it for next time.
We got it right here.
All right. We're going to rock out to Hoodoo, everybody. That's Kenny Neal on harp.
You ain't got nothing on me. Looking at my high dress slipped up over my knee. I see the hoodoo that you do. I see the hoodoo that you do. I see the hoodoo that you do. Why don't you give it a rest?
Bye now.
You won't get nothing from me. I put you to the test. Now I'm holding on to my rosary.